The nose knows that Dexter Jackson is going to win the 2018 Mr. Olympia. And how the fuck do I know that? Well, of course I don't know that. But this is the theory. I've been teasing it for a while on the shows. I've said it a little bit. I'm writing a nice in-depth article, and by the time I post this week's episode here that this nose is going to be on, of course I always put this on MSTV, and I'll also put it up on its own because I think it warrants that. Plus, I'm not stupid. It's going to have good keywords in the fucking title. But this is the theory I have. Phil Heath got 7 in a row. Everybody's expecting him to win the 8th. And I've said before this theory came into my head, probably about a month or so ago, I was saying it's going to be Heath, and then who cares? Everybody else is going to be, back of the pack. This is why I think that's changed since then. Phil Heath, long time Weider AMI athlete, since 2005, if I'm not mistaken, was signed as an amateur before he even got his pro card. They obviously saw greatness in the guy, and they were fucking right. So they got a lot of good years out of him. I'm sure paid him very, very handsomely. Now, I worked for Flex and MD. I never asked what these guys were getting paid, and they probably wouldn't have told me. It's none of my business. And that's why I didn't ask, because, I was just worried about what I was getting paid. I don't give a fuck about Heath. But I know it was handsomely, put it that way, especially because he was top dog for how many fucking years. And then all of a sudden, he gets released out of his contract. I'm not sure the exact way the separation happened. Heath's contract, he's no longer with Weider AMI. Flex is part of Muscle and Fitness magazine. A lot has changed at Weider AMI in a year. Robin Chang, who was top dog at Flex, is, and I'm sure whatever his equivalent is going to be at Muscle and Fitness now, whatever that title is, he's probably holding it at that publication because they swallowed up Flex. He's the promoter of it. And I worked for Robin Chang. The guy was, I don't know him. I worked for him for a year. I left on good terms. I left for a better paying job in muscular development that was full-time instead of freelance and then just show coverage and things like that. So there was no hard feelings and everything. But just human instinct would say, if you had this guy and they gave him fucking millions of covers, Phil Heath, and all of a sudden now, I don't know, however it ended, but it ended. Now all of a sudden he's on muscular development interviewed by Ron Harris, and both of them are waxing poetically of how great it would have been if he could have interviewed him over the years while he was with Flex. And I agree with that. I thought the exclusive contract thing was just abysmal. It sucked for journalists like myself. It sucked for the fans, because if they liked Phil Heath but they liked MD, were they going to subscribe to both because they can only get like hearsay from Phil Heath and stage shots? I mean, what's the difference? That's not really their workout anyway, guys. I got to break the news to you. Me and I think one or two other guys, we used to ghostwrite all the fucking columns in Flex. And Ron does them all in MD. So now, if you're Robin Chang and now you see Phil Heath, the guy that you fucking paid all of this, man, millions, I'm sure, over the years. And now he's over there saying, it would have been great to be interviewed by you and with Steve Blackman and all of this, talk to see you guys and all of that. And come on, for all intents and purposes, they're competitors, they're rivals, yes. There was bad blood. When I was there was bad blood between them. It was more RX and MD than Flex and MD. But Flex, those were the two main long-term publications out there. And they were both top dogs in their respective, in our industry. And to see that's like almost like your ex-wife now is hooking up with the guy you fucking hate the most. And he's saying, how great would it have been if I could have fucked you all of these years while I was fucking married to that guy? So to a man, I'm sure Robin Chang's like, okay, thanks for nothing, Phil. Biting the hand that feeds you, I see. And a lot of other things are involved with that. Phil Heath is way overconfident. He says he does not have a direct competitor here, that he's like, he's not sure of who is the main guy he has to watch out for. He thinks that they're all in a pack and he's way above them. But he's right. He's got all he's got plenty of reason to be fucking fully confident. Do not take that away from this guy. He won 7 in a row, and all 7 to me were slam dunks. Yes, even including that 1 year with Kai Green, where people think Kai should have won. I felt Phil Heath was still a much better bodybuilder that day and night, the night before and the next evening. At prejudging at a finals, even though Kai did look great, Phil looked better. You got to knock out the champ. He didn't knock him out. So I think, so now you're looking at that. He's overconfident. He's over there more than hinting, saying, when I win 10 in a row, then I'll probably hang it up. So he's already looking past this Olympia. He's looking at 2020. He's had a rough 2 years also. Lost the flex contract, however that is. Started Gifted Nutrition. Left his own company. His nickname's The Gift. It's his company. But he kept the Gifted Apparel part of it. Gifted Athletics is the name of the company. It's the shirts and shit like that and the hats. But he left his own company. He stated that there was mismanagement by people that were handling the accounts and all of that and the money, and he lost a lot of money. Possibly true. I don't fucking know. But it just looked weird. Then he went back to Ultimate. I believe he was with Ultimate Nutrition before he was with Muscle Tech, before Gifted. If he was or not, he signed a 1-year deal, like almost like a free agent in the NBA. You sign him for 1 year, you see if he's good, then you make him an offer and you keep him. Well, they decided to let him walk. He was in his walk year. It was a one and done, and walk he did. No other supplement company has picked this guy up. He is, like I said, the 7-time reigning champion, on the cusp of tying the record in the sport held by Lee Haney and Ronnie King Coleman, of course. 8 in a row. I mean, it's amazing. And he will eclipse Arnold's total. He's tied Arnold with 7, although Arnold wasn't consecutive. He was 6. And then when he retired, he came back in 1980. And, after 75 retired, he came back in 1980 and won the Mr. Olympia, which he really didn't. So just like Arnold got the nod, I say Dexter Jackson is the only one on that stage other than Phil Heath that does not have flaws. And I'm going to give Heath the benefit of the doubt and say that the hernia was the reason why he had the extension in his midsection last year. I believe he had 2 surgeries right after the Olympia last year. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. He's going to come in great shape. I don't think he's going to have a flaw. Dexter never has a flaw. I think the only time I ever saw Dexter have a flaw was at the 2013 Arnold, which he won anyway, when the top 5 all had GH guts. And that was the year Arnold started all of that talk, and then we know how that happened. Now Classic Physique is the latest, greatest thing. Oh, and also fucking Phil shit on Classic Physique, saying they're weekend warriors and they don't want to be, big guys, and that's, that's the federal IFBB, that's the, not even IFB, the whole, I guess all federations, that's the new thing now. It's like this Classic Physique look. They're pushing that more than bodybuilding, especially the IFBB, because of the whole Arnold knocking the GH, they look 8 months pregnant thing. So now you got him shitting on their fucking new child, if you will, new puppy that they adopted at the Bide-A-Wee home. Do they still have the Bide-A-Wee home? Remember, that was a kid. He's waxing poetic about MD. I wish I could have fucking done this years ago. This is great. He does not have a supplement contract. Other than his own apparel company, he doesn't have any. So he's just basically a man without a country. Man without a country. And the reason why is because he's not a very likable guy. The fans don't like him. The people say he's the most hated Mr. Olympia of all time. I don't know. How do you judge that, really? But I know that people aren't Phil Heath crazy. No, there's not a fucking, they're not doing a wave when he gets on stage in Orleans Arena. So Big Ramy's got flaws. Rolly's got flaws. I think Sean Roden, his window opportunity passed him by. I think Bonac peaked at the Arnold. He definitely has a great future. I think he's going to see a Mr. O in his future. I think Nathan Diasha, in a few years, he'll be ready. I think he's another future Mr. Olympia winner. That's my feeling is, all of those guys, Cedric, who knows psychologically if he's going to be there or not, and I mean be there, like ready to win, or just be the Cedric that cries and stuff like that. So I think Dexter, 10 years after he won the Mr. Olympia, and if you look at Dexter Jackson, compare a picture of him in 2008 and compare a picture of him last year's stage Mr. Olympia. Other than his face having aged slightly, and we've all experienced that, myself included. Other than that, Dexter's body looks the same, and they don't judge you by your fucking face, last I fucking heard. So, Dexter is going to be the only one that could stand next to Phil Heath 1 and 2, and if he gets the nod, it's still going to be a big upset, but you're going to say, when you look at it and go, there's no reason why he can't be considered Mr. Olympia. I think Phil Heath is going to get spanked. They're going to knock him down a fucking major peg. It's going to definitely derail him from what he has planned moving forward. I think it's going to humble him an awful lot. I think Dexter is going to retire after winning this. He's 48. He's not announced his plans. But I think if he wins, he'll either say on stage or shortly thereafter, it's time for me to fucking, he's going to retire as the champion, which I think would be a great fucking, as a journalist, that's a great story. It was a great fucking story when he fucking won in 08 over Jay. So I see him winning, retiring. Now you got Phil Heath spewing blood for a year, comes back next year, and again looks great and wins. He's going to be only the second guy to lose and then win the next year, Jay Cutler being the one before that, because he won in 09 after losing to Dexter in 08. And that's going to be a great fucking storyline leading up to next year's Olympia. And then after that, we see Flex Lewis, most likely, like Neil Yoda Hill said, he'll come back in 2020 in the Open. And then Flex, to me, is going to win the fucking Olympia. Because I think if Flex was in the Open now, he could have fucking won if they had the overall. And I have done videos and articles about that also. But not to go off fucking course here. Phil Heath is going to get spanked. And it doesn't mean that he doesn't deserve to win the Mr. Olympia physique-wise. Maybe just some of his recent past, and like I said, even going back to 2016, and something stinks because when you leave your own company, Ultimate doesn't bring you back. Flex why wouldn't you want the top guy being with your magazine, even at a lower scale pay scale, with them say, well, it's not like it used to be. We don't sign guys. They still have Flex Lewis. I mean, that's how Yamamoto got him. I mean, I know that whole story. That's another one. But you heard it here first. And I think it's the only one that's saying Dexter Jackson. And I've been dropping hints all over. Well, that's the fucking theory I have. So the nose knows that Dexter Jackson is going to win 10 years after he won his first Sandow. He's going to win number 2.